I'm going to show you how to build a next generation website using Astro and ReScript. Astro is fast because it uses zero JavaScript by default, and ReScript is a next generation web development language providing safety for those interactive bits. Now, ReScript is just JavaScript, so I will square that circle for you along the way. But by the end of this video, you'll have what it takes to make your next website a next generation website. Let's go over the solution. So what we're doing is we are creating a static site. I've got a hamburger menu in the top right corner. Right now, it's just a static Astro component, and I want to make it dynamic. Obviously, we want to be able to click on the hamburger menu and have it show a list of menu options. That file is just an Astro component. It's completely static, and that's what you see right now in the UI. When we look at the official integrations guide for Astro, we know that there is no official support for ReScript. However, with ReScript, there's a set of React bindings that are maintained, and so we can write ReScript code that compiles to React components, and then we can follow the React component integration path. So let's go ahead and follow that guide. So let's follow the automated integration setup. It's going to modify our code base a little. It's going to modify the package.json, the tsconfig file, and the Astro config file, something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. Great, that's done. Now, when we take a look at the files that were modified, yeah, package.json, tsconfig, there's some JSX configuration there, and there's some integrations for React that are added to the Astro config file. Great. The second step that we need to do is we need to install ReScript into our project. So there's a couple different ways. You can install ReScript into a new project, or you can install it into an existing project. So we're going to go with number 2, installing it into an existing project. So let's go ahead and do that. It has detected a package.json file, so yes, we want to integrate ReScript there. We're going to go with version 11, and yeah, we want the code to go into the source file. We're also going to use ES modules, and no, I do not want to check generated files into Git. Great, so we have a demo component. Let's delete that. We don't need that. Okay, third thing we need to do is install React, rescript-react. So it's as simple as running this command here and updating the rescript.json file. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, that was easy. Once we have it installed, we need to make these modifications. So we need to add rescript-react to our BS dependencies section, and then also JSX version 4. Great. Okay. All right, so step number 4 is let's make our component. We're going to call it mobile menu.res. Now I have this component already pre-made, so let's go ahead and just paste that in. So just to go over a little bit, we've integrated the hamburger menu as a button, and we've included these lines, but now we have the switch statement that based on the internal state, we render a set of links, basically like a mobile menu that you can click on. Nothing too groundbreaking here. We're using the reducer that's provided with React, so you can integrate a little bit of mini state into your component. So this is, if you're familiar with Redux, this is like your action state reducer type pattern. Great. The next step is we need to integrate that component. We need to compile the component first. So let's go ahead and do that. Now we can go take a look at our package.json file to figure out how to do that. It's added some new commands for us. One of them is res build. So this builds our component, and fingers crossed it should build. It did. Great. Out of curiosity, let's go take a look at this mobile menu res.mjs file. So this is what gets output from my my ReScript file, and yeah, very neat. It's very neat to see it all output. Cool. If I wanted to, I could make a .resi file, so that would control the interface, what gets exposed. I'm not going to do that right now. That might be a good other video to make. All right, next we want to integrate this component into our Astro component. So we're going to integrate the React component into the Astro component. To do that, we will write an import statement. Let's say make as mobile menu from, that's the one. There's a little bit of conflict here, so we're going to say mobile menu component. Great. All right. Now, I think we should, at this point, let's run resdev, npm run resdev, so that we can detect any changes to our ReScript file. So we'll run that in watch mode, and then we'll go over here into a separate terminal and run npm run dev to run our Astro server. Okay. Now we're on mobile, so I'm developing for mobile right now, so let's take a look at this. Now you'll notice there is no interactivity. By default in ReScript, all interactivity is stripped out. So you are basically, you render the component without any interactivity, and it's quite strict. So you have to specify a client directive to get that interactivity back in. We're going with Astro. The philosophy with Astro is to render really performant, high-scoring websites, so it makes sense that it has this strict opinion. So we're going to go ahead and choose a directive that suits us. I'm happy to choose the client visible directive. This is assuming that clients aren't going. The first thing they're going to be doing is not going to be going onto the website and clicking the mobile menu like immediately. They're probably going to scroll a little bit or look around, but I mean, even then it's going to be instantaneous anyway. But we're just going to go ahead and pick this client visible directive. So let's go ahead and do that. Client visible. Okay. Now, fingers crossed, let's see what's going on. There we go. There's our interactivity loaded in. That is how you write a ReScript component and get that ReScript component integrated into your Astro frameworks. To bring it all around, we wrote a ReScript component. When we compiled it, it output a React component, which is this component right here. Then we went into the Astro component and loaded that compiled ReScript, now React component, into the Astro file, and then we rendered it. And we set the client directive such that it will it will load in the interactivity for this component once it's visible on the screen. So to do that, we had to follow the integration path for React in Astro, and then we had to install. We had 2 steps for our installation of to get ReScript installed into Astro. One for ReScript core, and then the other for rescript-react. So I hope this video was helpful. And so if you'd like to see more of next-gen web development with frameworks such as Astro and languages such as ReScript, then like, subscribe, and follow me on the journey. Bye now.